Hey everybody, KnottNutts here again. Today I've got sort of an informational slash instructional video for you. I want to talk about my creative thought process when I'm trying to come up with different and new ways to tie knots or just new knotting ideas. So I have an example here of a project that I started with, and then the finished result. You know, I still might modify it later if I decide I don't like this and change it around a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with this right now. And how this came to be from here to here was I was in Korea supporting the U.S. Army in a bunker, and I was making some paracord bracelets and can koozies and stuff like that for the soldiers. And one soldier came by and asked me if he could have a piece of paracord. So I gave him a big long piece of black paracord, and he came back later and gave this to me. And I had never seen this particular design before, but I pretty much within 5 or 10 seconds knew exactly how he had made it. If you kind of examine the components of it, if you eliminate this part and the legs from, I think he called this a voodoo doll or a scarecrow or something. I think he called it a scarecrow. If you eliminate these legs and the top, if you've seen my other tutorials, you'll recognize that as a paracord cross. And so then you just make a couple more square wall knots and splice them in. I think he does his legs differently. I think this is actually one piece here, and this is the other piece, and this is one of the ends that he's tied a little loop in here so you can put it on a keychain or something. If you can zoom in as close as you can get to this guy, you'll see some more interesting detail about this, which is he made his flat walnut by taking the center cords out, and then he used the center cords as part of the walnut. So these white cords are actually the filler cords, which I thought was very creative, and the whole project is very clever. I don't know if he came up with it or somebody taught him how to do it, but when I saw it, you know, within just a few minutes I knew that I could make one, as I was familiar. I already knew how to make this walnut, and I was familiar with the Paracord Cross, and I just came up with my own plan on how to attach the legs at the bottom. So the differences between the two are that I kind of like to finish my walnuts with a crown knot. That way the ends don't look like a big blob of melted paracord on the end, which I think looks really kind of ugly. So I changed that to incorporate my crown knot, and then I just left the cords out. Normally I'll sew those down and then cut them off and then melt it a little bit, so it will look a little bit melted, but not as bad as some of these do. Looks like he did a crown knot on the end of his too. It doesn't look too bad. In fact, he did a really good job considering he did this inside of a bunker, you know, with probably just a lighter and a knife. Very, very good. So the other thing that I thought of when I was looking at this that I wanted to change was for it to be like a voodoo doll or a scarecrow or whatever you want to call it, or just a doll. I thought it needed really to have a head on it. So I tied a round knot. I think this is either a diamond knot or a button knot. I'm not sure. It's one of those two. And so I got this head on top of a neck. His just has a neck and arms and a torso and legs. So the additions on mine are that I made a loop that's not melted in the middle, which I thought was kind of ugly. I don't like that melting, and plus if you rub your hand on it, it's kind of rough or whatever. It can scratch you a little bit. So I've got a nice smooth loop there that I can attach onto, you know, hang it up on the wall or put it on a keychain or whatever. Hang it from the rearview mirror. And a head and a neck, 2 arms, fingers, a torso, 2 legs, and toes or feet, whatever one you want to call those guys. So that's kind of my creative thought process of when I see something, how even if I don't know the instructions, I can kind of look at it and dissect it and see how they made it, and then I think of ways to improve upon it and make it my own knot. I'm sure that I probably invented this. It would be amazing if somebody else came up with the exact same combination of knots to put together and stuff. So I'm pretty happy when I can see a knot and then realize how it's done and then tie it right away. As you become more and more skilled with knotting, you'll be able to do that too. You'll recognize your different favorite knots and stuff that you're familiar with and just know how to do them. So anyway, that's my creative process going from this, and I want to thank that soldier, I believe was in E5, I don't remember his name, but that's just an ingenious little something you can make, little key fob, whatever, out of paracord, and that's just really very clever, and I like mine, and they're both very good, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. So I hope this will kind of spark some creativity in you, and you can come up with your own wonderful and unique paracord knot tying ideas. So everybody, please tell your friends about my channel, and don't forget to subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.